Hello everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. And today we're going to be talking about the Condor Heavy Hover Tank. Yep. It's 50 tons, it's an 812, has 6 heat sinks, has an internal combustion engine, so that's telling you it's got some energy weapons someplace. And I said it's 50 tons, so there you go. Alright, so it has 96 points of armor. Not bad. Not great. Most of that's on the front slope, where you'd be going towards the enemy. And it also has 33 in the turret. Alright, so it obviously has a turret. Weapons. It carries around an AC-5 in the turret, with a ton of ammo. 1 ton for an AC-5 is more than enough. If a game goes more than 20 turns, I don't know what you're doing. It's like you've been running and gunning forever today. Alright, well, I guess if you're playing campaigns, it could work out. It has 2 medium lasers in the turret, hence the need for 6 heat sinks, because it has an internal combustion engine. Now, if you had a fusion reactor on board, obviously then you could not worry about those extra heat sinks. You could carry 3 medium lasers with no problem. And then it has a machine gun for anti-personnel work, and a half ton of ammo, and it has 0.3 tons of cargo space for, well, I don't know. What can you do with, you could, well, technically, you could carry around some ground pounders behind you, like a small squad. Stuff them in the back in the cargo hatch. Like, there you go, get in there. There's no space for us. There, no, shut up and get in there. Or you just carry extra equipment like sensor gear and all that fun stuff. Or maybe even a portable PPC for your infantry. I don't know. Now, like I alluded to earlier, this has an internal combustion engine, so you're better off using something other than energy weapons on board. You know, with the 2 medium lasers, fine. Yeah, you can do some good damage, but the glaring thing to me is that for the same tonnage that you put into heat sinks, you could carry around 2 SRM-6s and a ton of ammo for each in the turret. And that's typically what I do with the Condors I have, is like, yep, swap them out and give yourself a pair of SRM-6s along with that AC-5. And if you're really ambitious, you could probably even put an LRM on board instead. But, you know, I kind of like the idea of having some close, in-close weapons in case you need them. Now, how I typically use the Condor, being it's an A12, it's not that bad. It's like the speed helps it keep alive, especially during the succession wars. Now, if you're facing it against clan, this is just cannon fodder. It's like when you're looking at it, you're running around with 650 battle value. You might be better spent someplace else. So when you look at it against the clans, its life expectancy and the amount of damage output it puts out is pretty minimal. So, but during the succession wars, when you're running around with a lot of weak pilots that don't have really good gunnery or skills, for that matter, yeah, it's not that bad. It will get the job done, especially if you're using a couple of the different variants that are out there. So, it's kind of a cavalry, fast-moving, flanking, harassment vehicle, especially when you got the turret. And you're considering that when you can go out to 18 with that AC-5, yeah, you run around the flank, you get a lance of these or 4 of them, hit the flank, go around the corners, and just start plinking away with that AC-5. And then eventually when you get an opponent that's got some, it's locked up with, let's say, your mech force or your heavy tanks, and these things will dive in and start hitting the rear in the gear. You know, it's like dropping in the AC5 and then hitting with the medium lasers. Now, obviously, you're going to have some minimum range problems with the AC5, so you can't get too close with that. But that's where your machine gun and your medium lasers start taking over, because your damage output from one medium laser is the same as the AC5. So, yeah, I'd have a tendency to look at it and go, okay, I got two, maybe one, two, or three extra I need with that AC5, depending on what the numbers needed. May fire or not, don't know. All right, now there are a few different variants of this. Actually, there's quite a few, actually. There's the Davian version. This came out in 2952. Strips the medium lasers and the turret for 2 AC2s. All right. So, and 1 ton of ammo. So, there. That might actually give you some nice long-range sniping capability. So, yeah, that is something you might consider doing. So, then there's the House Lyo version. This one strips out the autocannon and then gives it 4 medium lasers. Yeah, okay, damage output technically on paper is greater because now you got 4 medium lasers versus 3 or 2 and 1 autocannon. But you don't have any long-range fire support with this vehicle. And you're throwing everything you have into heat sinks. So, yeah, there is that. So, not overly a step up, in my opinion. I'd rather just strip out that autocannon and give me a LRM instead, if you're going to do that. Then we have the Flamer version. This came out in 3025. This one changes the weapons, adds armor. The vehicle is mounted, has a Flamer mounted fore and aft with a ton of ammunition to go with it because it's a vehicle Flamer. And so you got that to go with it. And then it contains a pair of machine guns and a trio of medium lasers. So basically, you're just crunching the, you look at it and go, well, okay, you took off one long-range weapon to give it the ability to go cook infantry. You know, that's kind of how I look at it in that way. Not what I consider overly exciting, but, you know, there's ways of doing it. I don't know if you had been better off with machine guns instead. Then there's the upgraded version. All right, so this one gets rid of the internal combustion engine and replaces it with an XL fusion engine. So now we're looking at 3050 era. And it is an LBX 5 cannon instead of an AC5. So now you get an LBX 5. So you're getting a little bit extra out of it, and ability to shotgun a little easier to hit, but you're on the 5 chart. And it's mostly use it you get extra ammo with it. So you got 2 tons of ammo. So 1 standard, 1 cluster. So if you see a mech with a open armor sections, hit it with the cluster and try to get those 1-point crit hunting things. Or if you shoot say another hovercraft with that LBX, 1 point is enough to possibly do motive hits and slow it down. So that's kind of like how you look at it. It's like you hit the side. If you got a flank shot or a rear shot on a hovercraft or even another vehicle, you're just increasing your chances of getting votive hits. There. And boosting with it is you got in a turret, you have an LRM-5, so with 2 tons of ammo with the LRM. And then you have a extra machine gun, so you got 2 machine guns now, and a 10 heat sinks come with it. So, and then you get ferrofibrous armor. So you're increasing the armor value, but it comes at a cost of almost 300 more battle value with it. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, let's see what else we have on there. No, that's it. Then there's the upgrade laser version. All right, this one. It takes off the autocannon and gives an ER large laser. Okay, if you got a fusion engine for 2 more tons for a heatsink, yeah, I can get behind that. That's not a problem with me. Has an anti-missile system, a Guardian ECM. All right, so this is kind of a one where it's protecting the Lance with an ECM bubble, and any type of missiles come in the direction, and able to stand off at a distance and hit them with the large laser. Not doing a lot of damage, but you know, you can turn it into a convoy raider. Then there's upgrade version 2. All right, so this was kind of a combo. It says it has a standard fusion engine, okay, and the turret carries 4 ER medium lasers and 3 SRM-2 launchers with 2 tons of ammunition. When I'm looking at the SRM-2s with 2 tons of ammunition, you can do standard, or I'm throwing on some Infernos on board. And obviously this is a 300 more battle value than the original. Now, you got 4 ER medium lasers. That's a chunk of heat being tossed around it. So, yeah, you might be better off. But, you know, you got the fusion engine that's soaking up a lot of the heat sinks that those ER medium lasers add. But when you think about it, it's hard to say. It's like, is that worth it? Because when you're looking at the ER medium lasers, you've got 5 heat versus 3. So if you went with just the standard medium lasers, you just need 2 heat sinks added. And then you can take that extra 8 tons. You could put maybe an LRM-10 and some bunch of LRM-5s with a couple tons of ammunition to go with it, and increase its capability in the turret. So there's that. Something to think about. It's not necessarily a great deal to have the ER medium lasers versus the standards when it comes to vehicles. I'd rather just go with the standard medium lasers and save the tonnage on the heat sinks and use it towards a long-range weapon system that can reach out and touch somebody, especially an LRM launcher that can give the ability to the Condor to sit behind some terrain and have somebody spot for you and just rain down fire. And then when things get a little hot, you can run away and hit them with the medium lasers and then the LRM on the way out. There. Then there's a Capellan Confederation has one they call the fission engine. Well, make room, remove the autocannon, replace it with a 3rd medium laser. They also increase the spawns by adding sponson turrets, and it has each one carries a flamer and a machine gun. So basically this is kind of like your let's dive into the city and just cook infantry and shoot them up. That's pretty much all it is. Then there's the Condor Trans-Track Lyrian Commonwealth. Well, this one gives it the ability to go through difficult terrain. It can go over rapidly over open terrain, and when it gets into some heavy terrain, it changes over. That can conversion. There's an AC2 and has a track system. And well, basically this was a failed project. So it's like we can it's kind of like a crossbreed where it's hover / track. Never worked out. So they regrettably said, no, not working. Sent to the scrap heap. Then there's the Dark Age. Well, Dark Age laser upgrade. This one had 3 medium lasers and a turret and ferrofibrous armor and a fusion engine. So yeah, it's running pretty cool. Then there's the Condor multi-purpose track tank. All right, so this one gets rid of it as a hover vehicle, so it's no longer the hover Condor tank. It's now just a tracked 50-ton track tank. Equipped with an LBX-5, an LRM-15, 2 machine guns, and Republic Guard. So there you go. Its speed's not too bad thanks to a fusion engine, and it has 6.5 tons of standard armor, which is one more ton. Oh, that is the same as the standard version. So a little bit different. So you're saving a little bit difference in between having a track versus hover. Then you got the Condor multi-purpose tank with reactive armor. What can you say? It just has 6.5 tons of reactive armor versus the standard. There you go. So it's a multi-purpose tank with reactive armor. There you go. That's it. Like I said, what I would do with the Condor when I usually get my hands on one, especially if I'm running as a Merc, drop 2 medium lasers, use those, throw them towards the pile for the mechs where they can actually use them, better effect, and think about either replacing it with some SRMs or an LRM system. Sure, that's pretty simple. It's like out of a lance of 4, 2 of them may have the SRM variant, or 2 may have an LRM variant. So you got some bodyguards, and then you have some long-range fire support for getting around and displacing pretty quickly. So that's how I always look at the Condors. Definitely, like, it's a vehicle. It's pretty easy to modify the vehicle. So there you go. That's it. That is the Condor in a nutshell. Not overly a great vehicle, not overly bad. It has its quirks that need to be fixed. Overall, hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. All cracks out.